Hi there. Okay, so we are going to talk about the cake picture that we were doing, and we were doing shade and tint. So if you've gotten about this far, you have cake with icing, maybe some kind of a decoration on it. You have your layers of cake. I've added a plate at the bottom. The next step I'm going to do is add a bit of a horizon line. And then I'm going to fill, this will be sort of a table color. And then I'm going to do the background color. So let's do that next. So again, these are chalk pastels, but you can use pretty much anything. The only thing I'm not sure if it would work or not is crayon. But pencil crayon, you can use shading in there, and even Sharpie. You would just not color it in solid with a felt pen. You would just kind of do sketching lines almost. So I think I'm just going to show you how I'm shading, how I'm going to smear it or smudge it. So I'm going to just bring this down so you can see it. I'm going to turn it around so it's facing you so it doesn't look upside down the whole time. All right, so if you look at the angle of this line in your cake, your shading is going to be the same direction. So I'm doing like swoosh, 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 not straight back and forth, and certainly not up and down. So I'm going to just, what you want to do when you're coloring something in is follow the lines of, when you're trying to make it look 3D, you follow the lines that you are creating. And as long as you follow your lines back and forth, it takes more time, but it just gives you a more 3D curved appearance if something's a curve. Now the top of your cake really is flat, so that one doesn't matter quite as much. I'm still not going to go back and forth entirely, but I kind of want this line to stay clean. It's sort of a little icing line almost, and then if you're using pastels, these are chalk pastels, which I like even better than oil pastels because they just smear so much easier. I'm going to change fingers. So I'm going to just do this finger maybe. So every line that you do with pastel should be smoothed and softened. It just softens it. If you touch fingerprints all over here, you're going to get fingerprints in your background, and you can always blend those in and make them kind of work, but just keep it in mind. I don't like having fingerprints in mine, but it's okay if you end up with some. You just have to work with whatever you end up with. Okay, so I don't have any white spaces in there. So now we're ready to do the layer of cake. And I've got two fingers now I can't use. This one had the purple, this one has the yellow. I'm going to switch to this one. And again, this cake is being cut in. So I need to go straight in on this direction. And again, there's your straight line. So I'm smoothing in that straight line on that angle. And I would not continue like this. This line goes in like this. So your smoothing goes in like that. And we do that so that you'll have that, I can see the line goes that way, and I can see the line goes this way. And that will add to the 3D effect that I'm going for. So now I'm ready to go here, in, and here, in. And when I laid my pastel, I didn't go up and down like this. I went from that side to the middle and that side to the middle because I wanted to give that effect. So I shade this in. And now I shade this in on that angle. Okay, there we go. Now my plate is round. My fingers are getting a little bit dirty, so I'm just going to clean them off as best I can. And if you end up getting a different color somewhere else, you just have to kind of get creative and work with it. So as long as you take off most of the color there, you should be okay. My plate is curved and oval, so my shading is going to go oval as well. And I just be careful. I'm going to go down my edge of my cake, but I'm going to definitely swoop around. And swoop around this side. Soften all the lines up. Okay, and we're going to be ready for the background. And this is a different cake than what I started with. I finished that cake with my class, and so I'm doing a different cake now. Okay, so this is a flat table. So this is just going to go back and forth. I don't want to go over top of my plate, so I'm going to curve it a little bit. There, and then little purple line here. We'll smear that in. And back and forth. Okay, so let's just shade that in. And again, just go back. You want to go straight. Don't do swirls or anything now because you want this table to be kind of flat, right? Or counter, whatever it's sitting on. And now smooth that. Sometimes a little bit of green will come in here. We can play with that. I need a little more purple here. It's not quite purple enough. Make sure my fingers are clean. I just picked up some green, so I'm going to just wipe that off. Okay, and then my wall color. My light in this picture is going to be coming from, it doesn't really matter. I can come either direction. Maybe I'll come this way in because I have some darker purple over here. So I might just do this side is my light. So this is going to be my lighter colors and then that's going to be darker on the other side. So I'm just going to darken that purple then. The purple is going to be a bit darker right near here. A bit darker coming down, almost like it might be a shadow. Just add a little more dark in there. That naturally already is darker right there, so I'm just going to darken it a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to leave this side quite light right now. So now, just going to darken this, smooth it out. I don't love this area, so I'm just going to darken it again. It doesn't have to be dark right to the corner. I do like how it lightens, but maybe it just needs to be a little bit more dramatic. There we go. It makes it more interesting to the eye. If you fill something in completely, it isn't quite as interesting, but when you have it, some areas are a little darker than others. It just makes it more interesting to look at. Okay. I'm not going to worry about any of this on this side because I want it to be lighter anyways, so I'll touch all that up later. And now I just need something for the wall. I want the wall to be, or the background to be pretty dramatic. I think I'm going to do a red, which is pretty wild. But I'm going to do it really pale on this side, but of course this is my dramatic side, my dark side, where the light's shining this way. So I'm just going to really put a strong line right there. And I'm not even go right to the edge because I think I'm just going to smooth it. And now the top of the cake would not really have much darkness because the light's going to be shining like this and it's going to hit near the top too. So now I'm just going to do light. Just light red, if red can even be light ever. It's a pretty dramatic color. Bring it right to the edge here. Okay, let's just smooth it out and see how it goes. I'm just going to start on my soft side. And just, yeah, kind of scooch in a little bit if you have this top decoration that you've added. And bring it right to the edge. Don't leave the edge out. There you go. And it's kind of soft over here. When I get to the edge, I'm just going off the page, off the page. Otherwise, I might rip my page. Always in one direction. If I was doing this, it would get all kind of messy, and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it wouldn't be as clean. And I don't really want to get into my cake topper there, so I'm going to kind of give some swooshy marks around here like it's going into it, but not over it. And right to the edge again, push right off the table. And bring your clean line over. Just drag it one time up like that and then off from there. One time and off. Ooh, I'm making a mess on my table, aren't I? Okay. Okay. We'll do all the touch-ups later once we have more time to look at it. So, all right, now I'm ready for my tint and my shade. So I have to keep in very close mind now that my light's coming from this angle that way. So I'm now going to use white and black. Let's turn that ringer off. So white and black. So my shade is black and my tint is white. So shade. I guess my fingers will get dirty as I go, so if you want to stop and go wash your hands, do, because you don't want red getting into your green, for example. But all right, so on the white side where the light is shining on my cake, I'm going to take the edge of this. I'm going to clean it a little bit by just dragging it on paper towel. That's a lot nicer than, say, that side. And follow the direction again. I'm just going to lighten this side. Make a little bit lighter. Now if the light shines here, this side would get lighter on this decoration. But also as it shines across, this side would get lighter, because it would shine to the inside of this decoration. So a little bit of white in here. A little bit of white. And the whole cake top might have just a little bit of white, because the light's really shining on it. It's going to shine on the plate on this side, so swoop it around a little bit. And just only on this curve. Now let's clean that off again. And this side's going to be in the shade because my light's shining like this. This side is going to be in the light. So I now need to drag my white chalk on that side of the cake, just to lighten up that side. Okay, now this side, dust everywhere, is the shade. So if my light is here shining, my shade is on this side. So I'm going to give myself, follow the slice, just a little. Now black can sort of ruin everything, can it? So be careful. Give yourself just a little bit of shade. Follow your angle. Okay? And this side's going to be a bit shady because light's coming here, so shade's over here. So follow the angle of your cake and just a little bit of shade on this side. Okay, and a little bit of shade. Well, we're going to kind of color those in anyways, but the other way of shading something is to just get a darker tone of that. So maybe a darker tone of orange in there would darken it a little on this side too. A little bit of black, a little bit of orange. That's going to be the oranger side. I'm going to put a little bit of orange in there as I go. And then maybe this is more of the light yellow side. So I'm going to get some more bright yellow. And put a little more brightness on the side, like that's where the light's shining. Okay, let's try to do some tinting and shading now. Let's tint. Once I've got shade on me, it's going to get dark. So I'm gonna tint this side. And I'm going to tint my plate, blend it in. Okay, maybe I'm going to tint my wall a little bit. Tint the wall. Put some white light in there. Maybe it's just kind of in the corner. Bring some white out in there. Okay, now a little bit of your yellow, make it pop. I'm not going to rub it very much, so I don't want it to disappear. And this is pretty dark on this side, so I need more white. So I'm going to look for a clean finger. And I'm going to do just my blue, lighten that one up. Looks nice. Okay, we're going to try some tint or some shade now. That was my white tint. Okay, let's try our black. Follow your angle. If we blackened it a touch much, we'll just go over it with a little more purple. But definitely follow the angle of your cake. And if we feel like we're like, whoa, I went crazy, just swoosh a little more bright purple in there, like backwards towards it. And then just smear it back towards it again. Okay, just have some purple in there. This looks a little bit too chalky, so I really need to soften that a little more. Okay, and let's soften up this. Shade in your cake slice only to the middle line. Don't go past the middle line. So you're shading it in. I'm really trying to avoid that, also avoiding that icing line in there, that filling. I don't know, what do we think so far? This looks too dark, that looks a little light. Okay. Maybe I need a little more blue. Did I do it too dark? That's all right. I mean, gosh, who knows, right? Let's just make it a little lighter. It's a little too intense, maybe. Okay. Soften it up a little bit. And it might get a touch muddy too. I mean, gosh, who knows? It's just cake-ish. It's 3D cake-ish, right? It's not actually cake, so it doesn't have to be perfect. How's that going? Okay, now this can be kind of a scary part in any kind of pastel. We're going to outline it in black. You could do a Sharpie, but I really like when you're doing pastel, keep it pastel, whether it's oil or chalk. This line's a little rough, so you've got some sharp edges on here. Just don't do it flat down. Really try to find the corners as you go. So I'm just going to start with a horizon line and a horizon line. And also you don't want to smear black everywhere, so kind of plan from far away and work your way towards yourself. So okay, here goes. You just gotta I'm gonna do it light. I'm trying to go on the corner of my chalk. Don't worry. Look where you're going with it a little bit. Okay, that's a curved cake line, and I'm going to go straight up. Kind of plan where you're going, kind of like a car, so you don't end up running off the road. Okay, straight up, straight over. Don't forget to add your cake line in here. This is important. Not sure if I should have gone through my white. Probably not. Probably should have avoided that, but happy accidents, people. It's over. Okay, now I'm going to try to avoid it here maybe. Okay, so find a sharp corner. Something. Okay, now this part is a little bit weird. I found that on that first cake I did with my class too. So I really wanted it to look like I piped some kind of like cool yellow swirliness on there. So I'm just going to find another corner on my chalk here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of just free flow line. It's just, you know what, it's not going to be perfect, and it won't really look like piping of icing, and you know what, who cares? Just follow that fun line or whatever you've done on the top of your cake. And do it again on the other side. When you can't see what you're doing anymore, just turn it a little bit. Oops. There we go. Okay, now start with an easy black line. This one's kind of my hardest one because I've got yellow and black. I don't want it to totally mess up, so I'm just going to start with my plate. And I'm just going to drag one time through my black line. And all that's going to do is soften it, but it's not going to smear it too much. So just follow your line, clean your finger as you go. And I'm going to go off, I think this time off there. Just one time through. If you try to do it a bunch of times, it'll get messy and turn muddy. See, that got a bit thick because I had too much black on my fingers, so I'm just going to take it back off. I think I missed a black line up here, actually. I've got it where the blue is, but I don't have it where the purple starts. So that would not look good. Okay, here we go. And one more here. Okay, now I'm ready for my complicated yellow. I'm going to check my fingers and kind of try to choose a good one here. Okay, here we go. Just soften it. Try not to make it too muddy. Switch fingers if you have to. You don't even have to go over every line necessarily. Soften it a little. We'll go back over and warm it up if we have to too. It's all right. I'm touching really lightly too. I'm not pushing very hard as I go. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. All right, and that's about what I had. So let's just hold it up and take a look. Sometimes you need to get a little bit farther away from your work. So let's push this back up and let's look. Okay. So my light's coming in from here. This side's lighter, that side of the cake's lighter. I think actually I should have some more lightness in here. Like I think it would shine. That is nice and light, dark. That turned out well. You can hear my cats talking to me. Oh dear, hi. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of white in that side right there. Let's just do that. Where did we say we were going to do that? I'm looking at the whole thing backwards. Here? I think I said here. Okay. Hi, kitty. Lay your chalk down. Don't go like this. It'll just look scribbly. I'm going to really brighten this up here too for a second. Okay, and this I'm going to brighten up this side a little bit too. No kitty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just, I don't think I really have any clean hands left. Soften that. Soften these a tiny bit. On that side. Okay, my dears, what do we think? Let's hold it up again and see. Did we do it? I think we did it. Tint and shade. So shade makes the sides look darker. Tint makes it look lighter. And we used white. I probably, a really professional way to do it would be to use the same color toned down a little bit. But anyways, there you go. Tint and shade cake. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you're in a different class but you do the job, bring it to me down the hall and we'll stick it on the board. All right, have a great night. Bye.